know from what the Salaf said that anyone who calls the people of Tawheed, the people of Sunnah, as Mushabbiha, we know that he is a Jahmi. We know automatically what he is upon. And the fourth thing, وَعَلَامَةُ الرَّافِضَةِ تَسْمِيَتُهُمْ أَهْلَ الْأَثَرِ نَابِتَةِ وَنَاصِبَةِ. And a sign of the Rafida, a sign of the Shia Rafida, one of their signs is that they call Ahlul Athar Nabita. You know, the fresh ones, the new ones, and the Nasiba, and the Nasiba meaning the ones with partisanship. They have partisanship to Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhuma, and they dislike Ali radiallahu anhu and his family. And this is false. Rather, Ahlus Sunnah do not have, any ta'assub or asabiyya to any of the companions. They love all of the companions, and they know that there are amongst the companions who are more virtuous and excellent than others, because this is evident by textual evidence. But they love all of them, and they don't ally with one in opposition to the other. Right? So loving Abu Bakr and Umar does not mean enmity to Ali radiallahu anhu. But this is what they say. They say, no, you cannot have allegiance to Ali except with enmity and disavowal of Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman. And this is false. Right? So when these people say Nasiba or Nabita, automatically these are Rafida. These are from the Rawafid. So Al-Barbahari then says, Qultu wa kullu dhalika asabiyatun. I say that all of this is asabiyya. This is like fanaticism and partisanship. And Ahlus Sunnah wala yulhaqu Ahlus Sunnah are not given except one name, وَهُوَ أَصْحَابُ الْحَدِيثِ, which is that they are the people of hadith. And then also, Sheikh Ubaid continues, and he mentions alongside this statement of As-Sabuni rahimahullah, a nice statement of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. So he says, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he says that alongside those who declare Muslims to be disbelievers upon falsehood, there is another group of people لا يعرفون اعتقاد أهل السنة والجماعة كما يجب أو يعرفون بعده ويجهلون بعده وما عرفوه منه قد لا يبينونه للناس بل يقتلونه ولا ينهون عن البدع المخالفة للكتاب والسنة. So he's saying, he's speaking of two groups of people. One group of people are those who declare other Muslims to be non-Muslims. They declare them to be kuffar, they make takfir of them upon falsehood, bil batil, right, upon falsehood. And he says, alongside these people, there is another group on the other side. And this group, they do not really know what is the creed of Ahlus Sunnati wal Jama'ah. What is the actual creed of Ahlus Sunnah? Like in all these topics that we discussed, in Allah's names, His attributes, in Imām, in the issue of Al-Qadr, in the issue of the Sahaba, in the issue of the affairs of the unseen, the hereafter, and so on and so forth. They don't really know they don't know the creed as it should be, as it is obligatory to know this creed. They don't know it. Or they may know some part of it, and they may be ignorant of other parts of it. And that part which they do know, they will not clarify it or explain it to the people. Right? They won't explain the correct creed in those areas which they do know to the people. Rather, the Shaykh says, بَلْ يَكْتُمُونَهُ وَلَا يَنْحَوْنَ عَنِ الْبِدَعِ الْمُخَالِفَةِ لِلْكِتَابِ وَالسُّنَّةِ. Rather, they will actually conceal that knowledge. Conceal the knowledge of the correct creed in those areas where they do have knowledge. And nor will they prohibit from the innovations which oppose the book and the sunnah. وَلَا يَضُمُّونَ أَهْلَ الْبِدَعِ وَيُعَاقِبُونَهُمْ. Nor will they punish the people of innovation nor will they criticize them, nor will they punish them. Rather, بل لعلهم يذمون الكلام في السنة وأصول الدين ذما مطلقا. Rather, they may even criticize speech about the sunnah and the foundations of the religion, absolutely. Right? And you should be able to start recognizing these people now, because these people exist now as they did back then. These are the people like Al-Ikhwan, Al-Muslimun, Hassan al-Banna, people like that, and those who follow this methodology, who basically say, every Muslim has the common denominator of saying La ilaha illallah. This is what we should unite around, and everything else, leave it. We can agree to disagree with these things, and we shouldn't speak about these things, and we shouldn't bring these things to the people, and we shouldn't. This is exactly what Shaykh al-Islam is speaking about 700 years back. These people are present now. And they will prohibit speech about the sunnah and the foundations of the religion, ذمًا مطلقا. They will criticize it, absolutely. ولا يفرقون فيه ما دل عليه الكتاب والسنة والإجماع وما يقوله أهل البدع والفرقة. And also they will not distinguish between what the book and the sunnah and ijma' indicates and what is said by the people of innovation and splitting. Right? See, the way of the people of the Sunnah is very clear. We say, this is what the Quran, Sunnah and Ijma' says. This is it here, it's clear. And this is what is said by the people of Bid'ah. We make the truth clear from the falsehood. But these people here, they will not do that. They'll just leave people in just confusion in these affairs, important affairs of methodology and creed. And then they will teach things which nobody is going to differ over. Be righteous to your parents. Have good manners, be generous. Nobody is going to disagree with any of this. The Sufi will tell you this, who worships a grave, who calls upon the dead. He will tell you that. The Rafidi will tell you that. The Mu'tazili will tell you that. Nobody's going to disagree with these issues to do with akhlaq and morals and manners and behavior and giving charity and the hira. No one's going to disagree with that. Right? But what distinguishes the people of the Sunnah is they say, this is the Haqq, the Quran, Sunnah, Ijma', and this opposes it, and that opposes it, and that opposes it, and that opposes it. They make the truth clear from the falsehood. So the Shaykh says, they do not distinguish between what the Quran, Sunnah, and Ijma' indicate, and what the people of innovation and splitting say. أو يقرون الجميع على مذاهبهم المختلفة. Or they will basically affirm and acknowledge everybody upon their differing contradictory schools of thought. They will say everybody is upon the truth. Just like the kuffar say, they will say all religions are the same, they all lead to the same destination. It's just different ways. Right? It's just different ways and everyone is upon the truth. That's what the kuffar say about the adyan. This is batil. And in the same way, those people who say all of the firq, all of the sects, they're all just finding different ways and different paths and different avenues. All of them are correct. All of them. That's not true. But this is what they do. يقرون الجميع على مذاهبهم المختلفة. كما he says, just as the scholars, when they make ijtihad in areas where ijtihad is permissible, then we accommodate all of the scholars' views. This is correct, right? This is correct. In other words, when there's an issue of ijtihad where there is no text, there's no Quran, there's no Sunnah, there's no ijma', it's permissible for a scholar to come up, from his ijtihad with a view. And another scholar might come up with a different view. Another scholar might come up with a different view, right? So all these views can be accommodated because these are issues of ijtihad in which there is no text and no consensus. So what these people are trying to do, what they're trying to say is that the differences between the groups and parties, the firaq, is exactly the same, right? So the Mu'tazili, the Jahmi, the Ash'ari, the Rafidi, the Sufi, the Ikhwani, the Tablighi, all of these are like the ijtihads that the ulama make in the issues of ijtihad. And this is completely and utterly false. Right? This surfaced in the time of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. And in the 20th century, this we find with the Al-Ikhwan and other groups like that. So he says, وهذه الطريقة قد تغلب على كثير من المرجئة وبعض المتفقهة ومتصوفة ومتفلسفة كما تغلب الأولى على كثير من أهل الأهواء والكلام. He says this methodology, this approach here of basically softness and lenience and accommodating people of falsehood, this has overwhelmed many of the murji'ah, many of those people who expel actions from Imam, and many of those people who are the mutafaqqiha, the fuqaha, who try to be from the fuqaha, mutasawwifa from the Sufis, mutafalsifa, those who try to be philosophers. Just like the first approach, meaning the people who make takfir of Muslims in falsehood, that has also overwhelmed many of the people of desires and kalam, and both of these two paths are deviated and they depart from the book and from the sunnah. Now this is a speech of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, and Shaykh Ubaid comments and says, the two groups mentioned here by Ibn Taymiyyah, the first group are the takfiriyun. These are the people who go around, they make takfir of the Muslims upon falsehood, without any evidence, without any dalil, and without them even falling into that which is disbelief. And the second group, those who are other than the takfiriyin, who go in the other direction, and basically they err on the side of lenience, right? So one side errs on the side of harshness, and the other side errs on the side of lenience. The Shaykh goes on to comment, the Shaykh Ubaid, saying that today we have Al-Ikhwan, Al-Muslimin, and Jamaat al-Tabligh, and many other groups which are present today, and all of these groups are basically following the teachings of their founders. They take the teachings of their founders and the books of their founders, and they make that to be the criteria. And not the Quran, not the Sunnah, not Ijma', but the ideas, the doctrines, the methodologies that their founders wrote and spoke of. And the Shaykh then goes on to quote a statement from Muhammad bin Sirin, rahimahullah ta'ala, one of the great Imams and scholars from the early 2nd century after Hijrah. And he said, إن هذا العلم دين فانظروا عمن تأخذون دينكم. Indeed, this religion or this knowledge is your religion. This knowledge is religion. So therefore look at from whom you take your religion. Right? Look at from whom you are taking your religion. The Shaykh says, if you took your religion from a person of the Sunnah, Sahib Sunnah, Alim, Fadil, from a scholar, a person of the Sunnah, a virtuous man, then you have done well. You're correct, and you're upright, and you will be saved from the various avenues of tribulations and misguidance. But if you befriend one who is mubtadi', who's astray, then you will perish. And the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil." A man is upon the religion of his close friend. So let each one of you look at whom he makes his close friend, at whom he befriends. So this method, the Shaykh says, to warning from the people of deviation, warning from the people of misguidance. There are many, it is from the Sunnah. And there are many statements in the Sunnah which prove this. And the Shaykh mentions one of them, which is the hadith of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. سَيَكُونُ فِي آخِرِ أُمَّتِي أُنَاسٌ يُحَدِّثُونَكُمْ بِمَا لَمْ تَسْمَعُوا أَنْتُمْ وَلَا آبَاؤُكُمْ فَإِيَّاكُمْ وَإِيَّاهُمْ. There will be at the end of my ummah people who will narrate to you that which you have never heard of before, nor your forefathers. So beware of them, so take caution from them. And so this is just one hadith out of many, many hadiths from which this principle of keeping away from and warning against the people of deviation and misguidance, what it is based upon. There are many, many evidences in this respect. And then the Shaykh mentions a book written by one of his students, Sheikh Khalid bin Dahawi al-Dhafiri, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, who is one of the sheikhs from Kuwait. And he has an excellent book called Ijma'ul Ulama ala Hajari Ahli al-Ahwa, the consensus of the scholars upon boycotting the people of innovation. And so the Shaykh refers and alludes to that book because that book compiles all of the actual evidences in that respect. The next text, now we're on the 12th text that the Shaykh brings, and this is the statement of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. And he said, وَإِنَّمَا الْوَاجِبِ, that which is wajib, obligatory upon this ummah and upon the scholars of this ummah, بَيَانُ مَا بَعَثَ اللَّهُ بِهِ رُسُلَهُ وَأَنزَلَ بِهِ كُتُبَهُ وَتَبْلِيغ مَا جَاءَتْ بِهِ الرُّسُلُ عَنِ اللَّهِ وَالْوَفَاء بِمِيثَاقِ اللَّهِ الَّذِي أَخَذَهُ عَلَى الْعُلَمَاءِ. He says that which is obligatory upon the people of knowledge is for them to explain to the people that which Allah sent His messengers with, and that which He revealed His books with, and to convey what the messengers brought from Allah, and to fulfill the covenant of Allah which He took from the ulama. The covenant of Allah with the ulama is that they will explain the truth and that they will not conceal the truth. And this is the covenant with the people of knowledge, and that is what is obligatory upon the people of knowledge. So Ibn Taymiyyah says, فَيَجِبُ أَنْ يَعْلَمْ مَا جَاءَتْ بِهِ الرُّسُلُ. So it is obligatory upon a person and upon a scholar to know what the messengers came with, and to believe in it, and then to convey it, and then to call to it. فَيَجِبُ أَنْ يَعْلَمَ مَا جَاءَتْ بِهِ الرُّسُلُ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِهِ وَيُبَلِّغْهُ وَيَدْعُو إِلَيْهِ وَيُجَاهِدْ عَلَيْهِ, and to strive in Allah's path upon this, what the messengers came with, and then to weigh everything that the people dispute in. So every dispute you find amongst the people, every single dispute of statements and of actions, whether in the foundations of the religion to do with belief, or in the furu', in the branches of the religion, whether it is inward or whether it is outward. In all of these issues in which the people have differed, it is obligatory to return and to weigh بِكِتَابِ اللَّهِ وَسُنَّةِ رَسُولِهِ غَيْرْ مُتَّبِئِينَ لِهَوَى. Right? This is what is obligatory upon every person, that he looks at every statement, whether in the usul, the furu', inward, outward, that the people have disputed it, and to weigh it with the Quran and with the Sunnah, without following any desire. Min adatin, right? That's the first thing, adatin. You could have a habitual custom in your land, right? And you can't put that custom over and above what has come in the Quran and the Sunnah. You can't make the custom to be the scales of balance. So he said, min adatin, aw madhhabin. Or you might have a school of doctrine in your land where you come from, right? They might be upon a particular belief. As we see today, if you go in certain lands, overwhelmingly, they have a certain doctrine. There are Rawafid in certain places, Zaydiyya in Yemen, Ibadiyya in Oman. You have, everywhere you go, there's particular doctrines. So your madhhab in your land is not the criterion. It's not that which weighs the truth and falsehood. The truth and falsehood is the Quran and the Sunnah, Right? So Ibn Taymiyyah says that you must not follow the hawa min adatin aw madhhabin aw tariqatin, or a tariqa. Right? So again, you might have a tariqa that you follow, alluding here to maybe some Sufi path or something like this.